August 1971. In the basement of Stanford University's psychology building, an experiment was about to begin. An experiment that would reveal the darkest corners of human nature and go down as one of the most controversial studies in history. This was the Stanford Prison Experiment. Psychologist Philip Zimbardo wanted to know, what happens when ordinary people are placed in extraordinary situations? Would good people stay good when given power? And on the flip side, would innocent people break under pressure? 24 male college students were chosen. No criminal records, no psychological disorders, just regular people. Half were assigned as prisoners, the other half guards. The roles were randomly chosen, but what unfolded was anything but random. This wasn't a movie set, it was the stage for an experiment that would delve into the darkest corners of the human psyche. Day 1. The prisoners were arrested at their homes, a jarring intrusion into their ordinary lives. Police cars, sirens blaring, lights flashing, arresting unsuspecting college students. The drama unfolded on the streets, neighbors watching in disbelief as their seemingly normal peers were handcuffed and led away. Inside the prison, the dehumanization intensified. Fingerprints taken, mugshots snapped, possessions confiscated, their names replaced with numbers, reducing them to mere digits in a system designed to strip away their individuality. Issued prison uniforms, loose-fitting smocks, stocking caps, and chains, they were transformed into faceless inmates. The guards, initially hesitant, started to slip into their roles, their voices hardening, their commands growing more forceful. Day 2. The guards, empowered by their newfound authority, began to test the limits. Petty rules were enforced with increasing severity. Prisoners were woken in the middle of the night for pointless head counts, forced to perform degrading exercises, and denied basic necessities. The initial rebellion from the prisoners, a desperate act of defiance, was swiftly crushed. The guards, emboldened, responded with a show of force, reminding the prisoners of their place in the hierarchy. Day 3. The guards, no longer playing a role, had become cruel guards. They reveled in their control, creating arbitrary rules and punishments. They withheld food and sleep, forcing the prisoners to endure increasingly degrading conditions. Psychological torture became commonplace. Prisoners were subjected to verbal abuse, humiliation, and isolation. One prisoner, overwhelmed by the psychological pressure, suffered a severe emotional breakdown and had to be released. The experiment, designed to last 2 weeks, was already teetering on the brink of collapse. Day 4. The guards, their behavior escalating with each passing hour, began to employ more and more extreme tactics. They forced the prisoners to simulate sexual acts, to clean toilets with their bare hands, and to endure solitary confinement in a tiny, dark closet. The prison environment had become a breeding ground for cruelty, dehumanization, and despair. Day 5. The prisoners, broken and demoralized, had become passive, accepting their fate. The line between role-playing and reality had blurred, replaced by a chilling sense of power and control. The experimenters themselves, initially detached observers, became increasingly desensitized to the unfolding events. Zimbardo later admitted he lost himself in the role of warden. His objectivity as a researcher was gone. He was no longer an observer, he was part of the experiment. Day 6. The experiment, spiraling out of control, was abruptly terminated. The guards, relieved of their authority, seemed almost disappointed. The prisoners, emotionally scarred, struggled to return to their normal lives. The psychological impact of the experiment lingered long after the prison doors had been opened. The Stanford Prison Experiment became infamous. It revealed how power corrupts, how authority blinds, and how quickly morality can erode in the right or wrong circumstances. Today, the experiment is still taught in classrooms worldwide. It's a lesson in ethics, power, and human nature. But it's also a warning, a reminder of how easily we can lose ourselves when roles and authority blur our sense of right and wrong. So, what would you do if given the power of a guard or the helplessness of a prisoner?